What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with another superstar from the sport of mixed martial arts. Mario Bautista is our guest now on the hotline. He's coming off a big win over Patchy Mix at UFC 316. Hey, great performance, but man, was I man! I'm going to start off with something that I know you know where we're headed with this. I know you've addressed it, but when someone puts out 40 significant strikes plus in three different rounds, they came to fight versus a newcomer who was highly touted. And I could tell, Mario, that you were fighting this fight against Patchy Mix, right? But at the same time, you wanted to kind of rectify a little bit of the sour taste maybe from the Aldo fight, and you put yourself out there. And I don't know what you would have said when they gave you the mic, but I was so pissed they didn't give you the mic.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, honestly, I wasn't going in there to change people's minds or anything just because the Aldo fight. That I knew it was just going to be a completely different fight, different game plan and everything. So I wasn't trying to impress anyone, after that Aldo fight. It's just a different fight. Um, but yeah, I got that job done, and then yeah, didn't even get an interview or anything. So it was a little weird, but I figured I'd have my chance with media in the back and then doing things like this. But yeah, it was a little weird.
I know you're always very calm and low key, so just let us be pissed off on your behalf. The first fight ended in a finish, so it couldn't have been behind in schedule. Plus, it's a UFC pay per view. Them and ESPN Plus control it all. And then Piper gets one. And I thought Piper struggled to get to the finish line and won, whereas you kind of like was just stepping on the gas, stepping on the gas. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why um an OG like me that's seen a lot, it stuck with me. But if you're past it, let's focus on the win itself, which was very impressive against the guy that has won a lot of he's won a Grand Prix title. He's won an undisputed title. He's defended it. So he's done a lot of great things outside the sport. Some even going so far as to say maybe he's the number one guy. Yet you shut him down. Congratulations. How did you feel about that? Facing someone who came in with so much hype.
I felt good. I think he just maybe had a lot more pressure to deal with, um, which he should be able to handle because he's a champion of three-time world champion of a different organization. I know that show's not. I mean, it's not the biggest show, but I'm sure it takes a lot of pressure to get through that and get those belts and everything. So he should have been used to it. But no, I felt good with the win. We had a great game plan going in, and we executed it well. And I had complete confidence going in, due to my training and having, one of the best gyms in the world. With grappling and everything. Like we have all the tools and all the guys to kind of mimic what he does, and yeah, it just made that fight easy for me.
Did his comments reach as far as your team? Because remember, he wanted to submit you, but he felt like, hey, the whole team ain't got the type of Brazilian jiu-jitsu I got. Almost as if to say there ain't enough training you guys can do to stop him, right? So interesting, good fight hype. I'm sure it got people hyped up. But what was your team like in the back? Crouch and the other guys, what did they was it a little personal for them?
No, it's never personal. Like like we just don't take things personally. You can say whatever you want, but like at the end of the day, we're gonna get in the octagon and we're gonna figure it out. I just thought it was pretty funny. John Crouch just caught a straight bullet there. You know, he's like 60 years old, talking about submitting him and everything. So, but like I said, I have complete confidence in my team. Like he could say whatever he wants, but if he were to come to my gym, uh, yeah, he'd be getting submitted and pieced up just how I showed on Saturday. So um, yeah.
What's it like to roll with Coach Crouch, by the way?
You know what? I don't think I've ever rolled the crouch. I've been here for 11 years. I think like a few years before I got here, that's probably when he stopped rolling around. I think just had bad shoulders and whatnot. So and he just focused solely on training and coaching. So I haven't rolled with him.
Mm-hmm. He just
But
passes on the wealth of
yeah,
knowledge through his experience, I imagine.
yeah. But if you're like, if he's teaching class and he grabs you just as a, kind of a dummy to show these moves, you could feel the technique that he has and like the pressure, and you realize, yeah, this guy, is pretty good and he knows what he's doing. So, um, yeah, yeah. So.
Do you feel like Patchy, and I know this is about you, but just because I think it's fair, like I say, he brought something different from the outside. But do you think people need to wait another fight or two before they give their final judgment on Patchy? Because again, Saturday wasn't his night, but it was due to you.
Yeah, maybe he gets a different type of fight, a different type of fighter. Maybe someone that will stand in front of him a little bit more so he can grab them so we can see what he does on the ground. But, I think I just set up a good blueprint and, we might, if he gets another striker, you know, I think you might see the same type of fight that we just had.
Looking back at it all now, because he was coming from other organizations where he's achieved belts and all that, did it ever get to the point where did you ever feel like you were somewhat representing the UFC versus, the invaders coming over?
Uh, I wouldn't even say like representing the UFC just because, they wouldn't even give me an interview. So like, like, why would I feel like I need to represent the UFC, So it wasn't really that. It's just more representing myself and my team and like my hard work, and my win streak, uh, those are more of the thoughts that I was having.
Did you ever have a conversation with any of the brass or the matchmakers? Not so much about the interview, but just like, we honestly, if we go back, this is probably the fourth or third interview we've done with you in like the span of a month and a half. And it's because you had your location changed, you had the opponent changed, right? Like a lot has happened and you've gone with the flow. You've not complained about anything throughout this process. And for me, that's something where you thank people and you say, hey man, thanks for being a team player. Did you at least get that side of it?
Nope. Nope. Didn't get a thank you or nothing or like, hey man, we apologize. Fight got changed up, this and that. Nothing. Not even after this fight, uh I was not even like just because I didn't get the interview, I went into the back thinking, oh, maybe they'll say something. And they didn't even come up and say, hey, man, we apologize. The reason for this is and that. And if they would have gave me a reason, I probably would have been totally cool with it. Like, oh, I understand. Like, oh, Trump time delay or whatever it may have been. I would have been cool with it. But just be upfront and honest with me and tell me why. I think I would have felt a little bit better about it. So.
Well, honestly, I think somebody would probably ask like, well, how do we change this? And I think like doing interviews like this, I know when we bring you up on our show, our fan base likes you, and
Mhm.
they root for you, and I know that helps. But yeah, it was kind of odd just like hearing the crowd not being happy at certain points because George and I, we do a watch along during pay-per-views, so we
Mhm.
were kind of blown away. Your movement and your body work was nasty. So we were like, he's already improving, which is really scary because when you amount that to the streak, the win streak that you have, uh, as much as people wanted to dog Patchy Mix, we felt like you probably would have done that to just about anybody in that division that night. Like you were just on point. So I do want to give you your props there. Moving forward, though, a couple names that would stand out for me and one that kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit is Peter Yan. He is rumored to have a bout, but it's not official. I like that name. I know Corey Sanhagen is kind of seems like he's in the driver's seat, but is there anything in particular that you're looking at where we believe you've earned the ability to call a shot?
Yeah, well, I think Peter Yan is gonna. I think for sure he might be fighting Marcus McGee here. So that's kind of taken up. Sandhagen is probably gonna fight for the title. So that doesn't really leave us with much options. Figgy probably, who knows what's going on with his knee? Maybe he'll come back a little bit earlier by the end of the year. So maybe someone like Figgy or Umar. I think a win over any of those guys would definitely get me in title contention. So. I like either of those fights. Anyone in the top 5 actually, because I feel like I could just adjust to anyone that's there, whether they're a striker, whether they're a grappler. I feel like I can just come up with a good game plan to beat any of those guys.
I was thinking Song maybe.
That's good too.
Or Song, yeah. What's he ranked at?
On MMA Junkie, he's 8 and you're 7. You're gonna move up to 6, I believe, after this one. Switching with Patchy, he's gonna drop behind you and Song.
Yeah, just whatever gets me closer to the top. That's all I want. So hopefully we'll see. I've asked for these things before, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. So
Hey Mario, the way you fought this fight, was that just because it was Patchy mix? And the reason I'm asking this is, could that pace that you had, the movement, the body work, all that stuff that you did, would it translate over 5 rounds? Did you feel tired at the end of 3 rounds doing that?
no, I felt like, especially in that fight, I felt I could definitely do 2 more easy. So yeah, it wasn't going to be a problem.
I saw another interview you did where you hinted that you weren't 100%. When I hear Umar Nurmagomedov, I think, okay, Abu Dhabi, October. Could you be 100% healthy by then?
Oh, in October, yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, I should be good. So so we'll see. Yeah, I just had a little when you get the switch up when you're fighting Patchy, you gotta change it up, and so yeah, during this camp just got tweaked up a little bit, and yeah, I just couldn't wrestle for the past 2 weeks. And even now, if I didn't have stitches, I still wouldn't be able to go back to training and get back on my full schedule like how I normally will. So yeah, it was a lot of mental and physical battles like leading up to this fight. Like I was fighting like 2 battles when I was fighting Patchy. I was fighting Patchy and I was fighting this other thing. So but yeah, sometimes you just gotta tough it out, and get it done. I wasn't gonna pull out of this fight and then, have the UFC put me on a shelf for another 6 months and do all that. So sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do and still get it done.
I don't want to assume, but I imagine you love you some Mexican food. But with that cut on your lip, you probably are limited what kind of spices or what you
So
can eat, maybe, or what's up with that?
Oh,
yeah,
salt, man.
actually, it's not too bad. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking the same thing. Like, damn, because I've had cuts on my lips before, and yeah, you can't eat anything salty, nothing spicy, 'cause it'll yeah, definitely burn. But no, I've been kind of feeding it on this other side of my mouth here, so it's been fine though. It's actually probably a good thing, that way I don't just stuff my face full of stuff and blow up and just feel all like crap.
So you just limited the shakes, or you can just take small bites.
Just small bites of things, yeah. I actually ate a pretty decent dinner last night, some steak, potatoes and salad. So it wasn't crazy. It wasn't just like a big old burger and fries and greasy stuff. So I think I'm doing it right this time.
Yeah. Well, listen, you deserve a big fight. I mean, you're on a roll, and hopefully, like I say, some of that respect starts heading your way because you deserve it, because you're winning, and you're winning against tough guys that have held belts. Aldo held a belt, Mix held a belt. So at the end of the day, you're getting your hand raised, and that's the important thing. 2 paychecks, the opportunity to keep climbing. You know what I mean? But again, I was very impressed with that output of all those significant strikes. It was nonstop. It was an onslaught, honestly. I guess we didn't ask you, but you connected with Patchy early and easy. Did that catch you off guard?
No, no, I knew I'd be able to land on him. I've seen previous fights, like he's had like that kind of similar style before, especially in his previous fight with Magomed. Um, So we kind of worked off of that, built our game plan off of that, and so I knew I would land. But just the whole time, the whole fight, I was thinking like in my mind, okay, he's gonna shoot. Okay, he's gonna shoot now, or like he's probably gonna shoot, and it just never came. I was just moving around too much, I'm sure. So, but yeah, I was definitely ready for it.
Here's a question, the final question from me. that I want to ask you, and I hope you don't take wrong. Again, the output was there. You were cracking them. You mixed up the body and the head. You mixed up combos. It wasn't just one punch at a time or anything like that. At the same time, I felt like maybe in the back of your head, you also were worried about a well-placed takedown, a well-timed takedown, and maybe that doesn't. Maybe that's what prevents you from going that last 10% and putting everything into like a shot. We'll say, would that be fair? Or did you just want to touch, and see if in round 2 or round 3, then you damaged your fight the other guy so much that now it's just a matter of placement and finishing the job?
Yeah. It was a little bit of that, and then also a little bit, like I said, with what I was dealing with. So it was just kind of full. It just got a little hard, so I just had to keep it kind of real basic in there, and just and that's just the way it turned out. I would have wanted to do more, more, you know, kicks, more kind of longer combinations, but at the same time, I just you had to be smart and had to be careful. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks again for always jumping on here with us. It's always a fun time with you. We get to ask you a variety of questions. You're always so honest. You keep it real. And again, don't let anything that happened, I guess, after the fight prevent you from enjoying what you've been able to accomplish so far in these last few fights of the run you're on. And hopefully you get the next fight that you want. And thanks very much for jumping on Junkie Radio with us.
Not a problem, guys. Thanks for having me once again. We've done this quite a bit, so I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you, man.